Well, it finally got here. The time, that is. um, yeah, I could have started at 3:33, and after I didn't, it was around 4 o'clock. I thought I should have, because 333 is 9, although I don't usually break down any double or triple numbers. I let them stand as master numbers, including quadruple or any repeating numbers. I never break them down to a single digit. It's just master numbers to me. Anyway, that's my numerology. Don't correct me, because I can make it whatever I want for me. 444, of course, is grounding master energy on Earth, and 333 is also a completion. It's also a 9. That's perhaps the one exception that I make to the rule, to my own rule. The title for today's video is When Plaintiff Does Not Show Up in Court. My court appearance, scheduled for 9 a.m. yesterday, did not go as expected. Not only did the plaintiff, PNC Bank's attorney Carla Fajardo, not show up, she had not even confirmed the requested hearing with Krista Pila, the judicial assistant for Judge George B. Turner, who was unavailable for any hearing due to presiding over a 2-week trial. Yosef, or in English Joseph, Tani, a YouTube subscriber friend of mine from Israel, commented in the morning on my last video, quote, "Ho, Ron, it is Thursday morning, the October 2 in the East, and I think your court is today. My essential spiritual directive now is," quote, "loss of all ties," end quote, which possibly means your home resolution was delayed or moved beyond this realm, end quote. How did he know? Today I am filing a motion for dismissal with prejudice. Here's the motion. Ready to go to the notary and the post office for delivery to the parties involved. And with prejudice means they cannot ever open that can of worms again. And I reiterate point by point what I would reiterate in a real court of law, which is based on truth, which shows that PNC Bank not only does not, it never did have any lawful right to claim title or ownership of the home in which I live. Now, let me say that when I woke up yesterday morning after 3 hours of sleep at 1:30 in the morning, something had come over me. As I said in the beginning of the video recorded with Aristo yesterday morning, which is on Aristo's video, it was like I was feeling all this really positive energy, and something was happening inside of me that was wiping away all the fear and replacing it with a confidence that was just unbelievable. I mean, it was empowering what was happening inside of me, and I was basking in that energy, feeling the prayers, your prayers, the prayers of all my friends, and the energy that people were sending me. I was feeling that energy, and I was empowered. Now, what I was envisioning in this empowerment in regard to what would be happening, what I thought would be happening later in the day, was I was not going to answer any questions of the court or of the judge. No questions. Everything that would be asked of me would be answered with a question, always putting them on the defensive, because they were the ones that were trying to do something unlawful and trying to entrap me into contracting. Now I had friends advise me, don't go to court. It's their court. You can't win in their court. Generally speaking, I understand why people get this idea, and I've had the idea myself. but I absolutely believe it's the wrong thing to do not to show up in court. You need to put your best defense forward, your best paperwork, and your best performance. And in the basking of this energy, I was putting on a performance. That's all it is. It's a performance, but it's a performance in which I was standing in sovereignty, standing in truth, and that was empowering. Gone during that period of time in the morning were all of the fears and anxieties that I'd been dealing with for days prior to yesterday. And I was going into those feelings, the feeling of loss, the feeling of all the what ifs, all the negative and positive what ifs. I was feeling all of those feelings. Listen to me. I wasn't running away. I wasn't turning them off. I wasn't trying to get out of it. Oh, yeah, of course, there's a part of me that would like to get out of it, but I don't do that in general. That's not how I choose to live my life. I embrace whatever is there, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a circumstance, whatever it is. And yes, my mind races 100 miles a minute with all of the negative possibilities, the mind chatter, and I don't try to shut it off. I listen, I feel, I experience it. It's life, okay? That's how I do it. So anyway, I did get some anxiety later in the morning because I decided that I was going to go ride with my friend. And he was a little bit later than I anticipated getting here, and I thought, oh my God, we're going to barely make it to the court on time. So when we got to the court, I got out of my car, gave him my keys, go park my car. I got out at the front door, rushed through security. It was 5 minutes to 9. Rushed through security, went and couldn't see the judge's name on the board, asked the guard that was standing there, and he said, oh, that's in chambers, 3rd floor. I saw how many people were waiting for the elevator, saw that it was on floors above. I ran up the stairs to the 3rd floor, went there, said, where is Judge Turner's chambers? I'm told that I'm supposed to meet him in chambers. Well, what, do you have a hearing? And I said yes, and they said, what is the hearing about? And I showed them my paperwork that I had, my copies of the paperwork that I had sent them on Monday with the amicus curiae and memorandum of law and the other things that I talked about previously. And they looked up the case number, and they says, well, there's nothing on the docket for that case. What does it involve? And I says, well, it's a motion for ejectment. Well, they said foreclosure's down on 2A. We suggest you go down on 2A. And I thought, oh my goodness, my friend is going to meet me here on 3. So I ran down the stairs all the way to the 1st floor, trying to catch my friend before he got out there. I went to the elevator, or to the guard that stands near the elevator, and I described my friend, and I said, did you see it? Did you see this individual? And he said, yes, he just went up to the elevator. I sent him up to 3. So I go running back up the stairs to 3 and to the 3rd floor. And I get there, and the lady says, yes, he was just here. We sent him down to 2A. So I go run down to the next floor, and I find him there. He's looking for me, wondering where I am. And I tell the lady at the window, and she was unable to find anything in the record either. Anyway, with the deputy sheriff accompanied the two of us up to the 3rd floor again, and there she called the judicial assistant, whose name is Krista, and her name was Valerie, and talked to her, and they pulled up. I saw it on her. I saw it. They had the document, the notice of hearing, which I hadn't brought with me, but they had the notice of hearing right there. And yes, I saw it. I said, that's it. And the deputy said, she's talking on the phone. Okay, yeah. And she wasn't talking to me. She's talking on the phone. And so I let her finish, and she said, there's no way. This has never been scheduled actually. Even though it shows a notice of hearing, it was never confirmed. And the judge is, she told me the judge is in a 2-week session presiding over a trial. He doesn't have anything scheduled except the trial for this 2-week period of time. And anyway, she said there is no hearing. I says, well, I need to confirm that I was here. And she gave me her name. And when I got home, I actually called. She gave me the private number of the judge, and I got his judicial assistant on the phone and confirmed with her that she had talked with Valerie. And all of this is in the affidavit, and that precedes the motion for dismissal. Now, folks, this is powerful. This is powerful. People have been praying for me. I was supposed to be Wednesday in the meeting with the Red Dragon, and it was his birthday, and I didn't even get to wish him a happy birthday. But in the meeting, they did special prayers for me. They even tried to get me on the meeting, but I was talking to Aristo at the time when they tried to contact me, and Aristo and I had only just barely begun the conversation, and I brushed off the ambassador and the Red Dragon in their attempt to get me into the meeting where they wanted to pray for me. But their prayers were heard, and so were your prayers heard. I mean, something happened inside of Ron to bolster my power and get me out of the energy of feeling all the negativity. And yes, I don't run away from it. Yes, I embrace what is, because that's my choice. That's my choice. But now, had I followed the advice of my friends and not shown up, or if I had shown up and just refused to even comment, which is one of the advice was, I have nothing to say. My paperwork speaks for me. I would have chosen, based on what the energy was, to ask questions. Did you receive my documentation? Do you understand my documentation? Do you understand that I am standing on my rights, my undeniable, unalienable human rights? Do you understand where I am and who you're talking to? You want to know? Do you want to deal with Ron Van Dyke? Here's the Ron Van Dyke holding up my birth certificate that you're dealing with in this proceeding. You're dealing with that person in your law, in your legal system. But that's not me. Do you understand? That's not me. See, I'm making statements, but always in the form of a question. Do you understand that it's not me? This is not me. This is a dead piece of paper. I am a living human being, a living soul, a sovereign. I am. What is it? I am. Do I have it in here? I'm not going to look for it. My status, though, in the amicus curiae and in the memorandum of law and the notice of private citizenship. I am a private citizen. Private, not public. The public citizen is the name all in caps, or when you're in the military, or when you're dead on your tombstone. In the Admiralty system, they consider you dead. In that court system, you are dead. You do not exist as a human being to them, which is why you don't have any rights, which is why they can run over you. But when you understand how their system works and you know what questions to ask of them, they are forced to recognize who you are as a living soul human being. They are forced. And you don't do it by ignoring them or avoiding them. You don't ever win, in my opinion, by denial or avoidance or playing some kind of a silent treatment game with them. I know there are people that recommend that. I don't buy that recommendation. You stand in your power and you learn how to express yourself as a sovereign. Now, I'd like to get the world to the place where we don't have to learn all this stuff, where the system just automatically recognizes who we are and can say, and can look at us and say, namaste. Yes, I recognize that you're just like I am. You put your pants on just like I do. You get up in the morning just like I do. You're a human being just as I am, and we're equal. We may not have the same amount of money. We may not have the same role that we're playing, but in the essential condition of who we are equal. We are all divine children having a human experience for those of us that are human. Angels and other creations are another story. But we as humans are alike and the same. This is the law of one. And if we allow ourselves to go through the human experience without denying it, without trying to avoid it, simply telling the truth, telling the truth as we understand it to be, we will make great strides in awakening, in ascending, in becoming the powerful beings we were created to be, which is our destiny. And we will reclaim our birthright, and all of our natural rights will follow, and we will be free, and we will liberate the entire planet. This is a process, folks, just like giving birth to a child, conceiving and going through the 9 months of pregnancy in the womb. It's a process. Trust the process. That's what Spirit is telling me to share with you. Trust the process. Thank you, Joseph, for your wonderful message before I went, and I saw it confirmed before my own eyes. Indeed, it has been moved beyond this realm to the realm where we're all free. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.